can't see me.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is it's very good to be back in this space, in this community, which I feel part of. I've been working a lot on Operation to Go placement after I ordained this last year, and one of the things that we have to do is a personal, and all of our resumes look the same. You know, we've all had pulpits and had internships, and we do the same thing at these places, and we have the classes, and we have teachers, so we all have a personal statement to the only purpose of a personal statement is to get room for the interview. And one of the things that I was told by my professors who helped me work on that one of the unique experiences that I could write about as personal is this community, because I am the only rabbi at all recently, as in like the last 20 years at HUC, who has had the opportunity to be in community for 3 years in a row in as a student pulpit, as an internship. And the comparison of this experience to what I was doing for High Holidays, which was, you know, instead of being here with 15 or 20 people who know well, being in front of 1,200 people who I've never met, is fairly extreme. And I'm really looking forward to this next year. I really feel very comfortable here, and I hope that resonates with this community as well. And to start our service off, I would like to invite Shannon and the siblings up to light our shot candle this evening. Little dump, big dumpling.
Yeah, that refers to Shannon.
Page 120. Amen. Thank you very much. Hine matovu anayim shevet achim gavachad. Hine matovu anayim shevet achim gavachad. Hine matovu ya la 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 la. Hine matovu ya la ya la 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 la. Hine matovu anayim shevet achim yachad. Hine matovu anayim shevet achim yachad. So throughout this service, I'm going to be sharing a couple times something that will lead into the topic of a sermon. I'll be reading selections from a book titled Children's Letters to God. This book, as you may guess from the title, consists of children who wrote letters to God in the first or second book. And in this book, they ask God questions. And so I will be sharing with you some of these questions times over the service, and these questions are as profound as they are quite literally childish, in a wonderful way. And I hope that the questions that we hear will spark our own questions, which are equally bound and maybe equally childish, questions that will come from wherever that unique place within ourselves where we have that conversation about God. We continue with service on 141. Yitkara v'yitkara shemei rava. Amen. Amadi brafi urtei v'if malchutei. V'chaye chom yom v'chom. Uchaye d'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala u'izman harim. Ve'hu amen. Yeshirah Please rise for 140. Who praises forever, who praises due now and forever. Please be seated. Dear God, how did you know God? Dear God, are you really invisible? Or is that a trick? We continue together on the top page 109 in the English. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom set the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night, as heaven bends to infinity. You set its course eternity. Praise to you, Adonai God, from whom the evening flows. We continue on the top of page 151. As you Torah to those whose names I bear, me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to know. Lead me into the Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'levav Dear God, I hope ants aren't very special because I squish them all the time. Dear God, second is harder than the first grade. I hope this doesn't keep going. Page 150.
Know how to heal, oh, Savior. Know how to heal, oh, Savior.
Page 161, our prayer Hashivenu, where we hope to have the night, a time of peace rest, where we will be safe and able to wake up anew in the morning. Please join me together on 161 at the. Give us a place to rest, by our God.
Rest in shelter, which is soft, you can shatter your truth. For when you are to reject safely, your requests are accepted as gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Your justice return. Spread over us shelter peace, over all our Jerusalem and yours.
We continue with Vishal on page 162. And this guitar I have deemed close enough for folk music. Maybe not.
Israel, et Shabbat, Laot et Shabbat, Dormerito Lam, Shamru b'nei Israel, et Shabbat, Lasot et Shabbat, Ledorotam Berito Lam, Beinu b'nei Israel, O Olam, Vishamru b'nei Israel, et Shabbat, Lasot et Shabbat, Ledorotam Berito Lam, Hishkeshekami Asa Adonai, Adonai, et Hashemayim, et Haaretz, Vishamru b'nei Israel, et Hashabbat, Lasot et Shabbat, Ledorotam Berito Lam, Ubayom Hashid, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shamru b'nei Israel, et Hashabbat, Lasot et Hashabbat, Ledorotam Berito Lam.
Sure, that is very kind of you. This is attached to top of the. Dear God, please make my sister pray so she can get married. In a particularly timely one, dear God, you better make all the bad things go away, or you'll get a lifetime. We now rise in peace of God. We are now on page 164. Adonai silvatai tifta u'ia gita hilotecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my may declare your praise. Adonai, Einu, Elohim, Otenu, V'imonu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Elohei Gibor Ha'adorah, Elohim, Roel Chasim Tovim, Onei HaKol, Zochres Elohim Imahot, Umeyuhalim Nifnehem, Ma'ador Ha'ava, Melech Rosh Hashanah, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Yatzarah. Page 160. Please be seated as we turn to page 164. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'amcha Yisrael, U'tefillah, Ve'ahavat Tekael, U'tehi Ratzon Tamid, Avodat Yisrael, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otah levanecha, ve'yiranavon, she'otecha levanecha, On 170, our prayer of gratitude. Read together, think of the things of which we are thankful. The top of 177. God of we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, and for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains. For all these and more, we offer this. Baruch atah Adonai, Tov Shimcha U'Na'eh B'Hod. And we continue in a prayer of peace on the page 179. Grant us peace, most precious gift, eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the people of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May content reign in our borders, health and happiness within our strengthen bonds of friendship and fellowship, among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. Love of your name, how every home and heart. Praise our eternal one, who blessed people with peace. Baruch atah Amarei et amo Israel Sholom. We now pause for a few moments of silent prayer and meditation. Turn to page 366 for our Torah service. Ki Eon Tetzei Torah Bar Adonai Yerushalayim, from out of Zion, Torah, and the word of Adonai in Jerusalem. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Gadol Adonai, Umerom Shemo Yachdah, Adonai Gadua, Vatiferet, Tzafrao, Kivol Bashamayim, Kivol Bashamayim, Na'aseh L'Chol, Al Shademarim, Al Shademarim, Al Shademarim, Ha'olam, Ha'olam, Omen, Al Shademarim, Al Shademarim, Al Shademarim, Ha'olam, Ha'olam, Omen. HaTorah, Ve'al Avodah, Ve'al Gemilut Hasadim, HaTorah, Ve'al Avodah, Ve'al Gemilut Hasadim, Yadadai Torah portion this week is Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha, go out from the place you came from, go forth, Abraham, get out of town, leave everyone behind, your nephew Lot and your wife Sarah, and take all your stuff and go to a place that I'll show you. This is the big moment when forefather Abraham takes a major leap quite literally, and you pay attention to Abraham's lifestyle. It is not a choice that happened without sacrifice. Abraham gives up a lot to follow God in the way that he does. He is a mission. He has a focus. He has a purpose. And as renowned of a leader as he is, his family life suffers for him, which will be in coming portions. But at this moment, in this portion, it is like Abraham is standing on a precipice, and Abraham goes right down. So I call it our Aliyah Eric. Amod et Aliyah Rishona Achim ben Yisrael B'Aliyah.
With thy humble rock, Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed, Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed, Barak Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher b'charbonu mikol ha'amim, Atam et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai notei Torah.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Avram, Lech Lecha Yartzecha, Umoladtecha, Umiveit Avicha el Aretz Asher Arecha. V'atecha L'goy Gadol, V'avarcha, V'arad La Shema, V'hayevarechecha, V'avarechecha, V'mikolel Bor, V'nivrechu V'cha Kol Vot Ha'adamah, V'yelech Avram, Ka'asher Diber Elav. Vayelech ito Lot, V'arham ben Chamesh Shanim V'shvi'im Shana Zeito Mecharan. Vayik Avram es Sarai Isha, Ve'et Lot Beniv, Ve'et Kol Rachosham Asher Ru, Ve'et Hanefesh Asher Bacharan, Vayitzu Lalech Artza Canaan, Vayavohu Arnaan. The Lord spoke to Avram, saying, up and go from the land that is yours, from the land that you raised in, from the house of your fathers, go to a land that I will give you. And fill Abraham doing as God asked. I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will your name great. And you yourself will be a blessing, and those who bless you, I will bless, and those who curse you, I will curse. So, all of the nations of the world will bless this by you. So Abraham and did as the Lord, and he went out, Lot, and Abraham was 65 years old when he left Haran. Abraham took with him his wife Sarah and his brother's son Lot, and of the wealth that he had amassed, and all of the people that he had amassed while he was in. They all left and went to Canaan, and so it was that they came land of Canaan.
Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah. Amen.
We now come to the point in our service when we those who are in need of healing in our community and in families. On page 70, we have the Ishpeming, page 1. If there is a name of someone in need of healing that you'd like to share with our community, please do so as my eyes meet you.
Daddy Frank, Alfred Chicken, Sonia Murray,
Ann Arnold. Chris Beth.
Hannibal where? Sing together. Ishpeming, Avotenu, Mehor HaBracha, Imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Ishpeming, Imotenu, Mehor HaBracha, Laotenu, bless those in need of healing, with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Now we have two beautiful tour covers in the works right now, due to talent of Carol and Candace. But in the meantime, Candace has taken the last couple of months or however long it's been to not sure to call it, but to improve our current tour cover with this divide in the back, so we can more easily access our signals. And so in honor of that, I'd like to call up Candace to dress for us this evening. Please rise for Hana. V'zot Torah asher Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael ki Adonai b'yad Moshe. Dear God, it's really hard for you to love everybody in the world. I have just one brother, and I can't do it. Dear God, do plastic flowers make you mad? I would be if I made the real ones. Dear God, thank you for the baby brother, but what I prayed for was a puppy. As we've heard many examples of children asking God questions. As we grow and as we learn, thoughts mature, we still have questions involving. They're probably not questions addressed to Adonai. After all, does it make sense for us to ask God questions? When track record makes it clear that we probably won't get an answer. But if you do get an answer, let me know, because several world issues on the table that we could resolve. Our questions tend to be Adonai. And there are, what's my relationship with God? How do I connect with God? Is there a Jewish view of God accept? Or just, do I believe in God? Actually, the last one often cross as a statement. Some people seem to avoid attempting to shock rabbis by proudly coming to them and saying, "Rabbi, I don't believe God." Well, let me tell you, we are not. It's not even that important usually if you believe in God or not. What's important to me is, are you a mensch? Are you a good person? In fact, it's not that central to Judaism whether you believe in God. As the whole Jewish tradition spends little time helping answer questions specifically about God, of the 613 commandments in the Torah, none of them address how we should believe in God. Even when we examine the core of rabbinic literature, Mishnah and in the Talmud, little contents to do with how one should believe in God. There have been great Jews who were non-believers. Theodore Herzl, father of politicalism, who was influential in the creation of a movement that ultimately led to the founding of the State of Israel, was a completely secular Jew. Ron Cohen, an incredibly influential German Jewish philosopher, wrote about the idea of God and how the idea of God shaped Jewish tradition. It is one of the strengths of Judaism that what you believe is not the primary focus. Our tradition, from its earliest beginnings, has the highest emphasis on the way we live our lives, the decisions we make, and our impact on the world. In short, Judaism puts actions first and beliefs at a somewhat distant second. One of the oddities of Jews not believing in God, though, is that whether or not we believe in God, Adonai and Judaism are intertwined. And just because faith has never been the focus of our tradition doesn't mean they are without core concepts concerning God. There are understandings that have been proven universal in all Jewish views of Elohim. To begin with, God is. Jewish tradition understands God's existence as given and as completely eternal, first and last, before and after all other things. Next, our Jewish view of God rests on the basis that Adonai Echad, God is alone and unique in divinity. But you find there are infinite ways to understand what God is and what God's function is. Going on 3,000 years of tradition, we've amassed quite a few opinions on Adonai Elohim. In fact, most Jewish theologies don't even agree with each other. Here are just a few contrasting examples. The existentialist philosopher Martin Buber saw God's existence in our relationship with others. When we share a special moment with another person, with a piece of music, with nature, we bring the divine presence to our lives. Other Jews see God in sights. Personal, God's existence is reflected in patterns 12th century Jewish philosopher and scholar widely known in his own time and remained one of the most important teachers in all Judaism. So it's surprising his principles of faith have received more tradition historically than any other. The core God concepts that we mentioned earlier, eternal, singular, and incorporeal, are all in Maimonides' list. But when we move down the principles of faith, things get harder to accept as Reformed Jews. This includes statements like words of the prophets came directly from them. And the Torah that we have today is the exact word-for-word rendition God spoke to Moses on Sinai. I would suggest that the little difference between someone who blindly accepts Maimonides' list and someone who refuses to entertain the concept or the conversation of God. On the one hand, we have a person of absolute faith, and on the other, a person who refuses to consider God. Both have been a passive path. But Judaism isn't about being passive. It's in our very name. We are Israel. We are the people who struggle with God. We accept a stagnant list to tell us who our God is. We don't know the topic, even if the wrestling leads on belief. The trick is embrace the struggle. Embrace the God conversation. It's an accident that Judaism comes without a theology instruction. Our tradition purposefully leaves space to develop our own definition of Elohim, a struggle for understanding that will continue our entire lives. As we live on, suffer terrible tragedies and transcendent joys, our understanding of God will change because we ourselves grow and change. If you haven't had a conversation about it recently, if you haven't had a conversation about God with the people who you interact with mostly in your day-to-day lives, find someone you trust and talk about the questions. Talk about where God is and what God is. There aren't any wrong answers to be afraid of, and it's okay for there not to be any answers. The value is in taking the time to have an understanding of God that gives us a fulfilling way to frame and live our lives. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with our service on page 586 at the top, and we rise for a lady. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'ol, v'ateinu l'aleos bereshit, shehu l'teshnai v'yot ha'aretz, u'mad v'karot b'shamayim ima'o, u'shnatu zo v'gofei meromim, u'eloheinu eino, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'momim, Lifnei melech Alem Havim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Please read in the English at the top of page 589. Let the time not be distant, God, when all shall turn you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind. Oh, may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Until your realm be established on earth, and your prophet fulfilled, Adonai will reign forever and ever. 591. V'nemar v'Adonai v'melech al ha'aretz v'yom ha'hu v'yom ha'hu Adonai echad u'shemo 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 echad. Be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed, loved ones whom our friends have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are marked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, those who we lost, as time and seasons pass, we meditate on the meaning of love and of loss, of life and death. Please rise.
We remember Bonnie Garza, Joseph I. Fine, Fran Bending, Benjamin Casper, Ruth B. Dinsky, Sarah Javinsky, Mary Manis, Jacob G. Nursky, Nina M. Dubinsky, Geraldine DeFont, Luce Rath Grossman, Stephen H. Gottlieb.
To those we add,
Lori Wilson, Michael Wilson, Mary Wilson.
we read the words of the morning Kaddish together, page 598. Yit Kadal, Yit Kadash, Shemra, V'alma, Yivra, Hirute, Nid Amplute, V'chayon, V'chon, V'chayed, V'chol, Israel. Agalah, V'zman, Karid, Yoru, V'yishrei, Rabam, V'barach, V'al Maya, Yitbarach, V'yitbar, V'yishrama, V'yitnaseh, V'yitar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemitra, V'yitu, V'elam, V'yimata, V'shirata, V'yitarta, Nechamata, Ta'amiran, Ba'alma, Ru'amin, Yehi, Shlama, Rabba, Mishmaya, V'chayim, Aleinu, V'yal, Kol Yisrael, Ru'amin. Oseh Shalom, Uya Oseh Shalom, Aleinu, Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Zichronam Livracha. May their memory be a blessing for us, and through be a blessing to the rest of the world, as we say together. Amen. Please be seated. We're starting tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. We will be looking at the entire Parsha of Lech Lecha, and specifically checking out Abraham's role in a military leadership setting. We'll also have a discussion of what we will sort of do this year generally for Adult Ed. If you want to hand that conversation, please come. Shannon.
Excuse me, we'll be at the lion room, not our usual fireplace. You probably have to ask for direction.
The main
Floor in the back on the right.
area.
Yeah.
That's all.
Anything else, Shannon?
No. Sunday school this weekend. Oh.
Make sure you
Yes, okay. I'll tell them for that. And that's really it. Next time for our we are planning on going to Kiss Me Kate. So we're figuring a dinner and a show for this on Saturday evening. So save the date. Saturday, November 10th. It's MS's leaving on it.
Our closing song this evening is on the bottom of page 647. See the Zimrat Yah. Shimrat Yah, Ayam Shabbat Shalom, the Shalom, Kavoah, Shalom, as you came in peace, may you peace, after you join us downstairs for Motzi Kiddush.
But we can.
Isn't it? Yes, and it speaks
Shalom.
I actually am going to use this. Oh, believe it or not, you might want to use two. Of college.